Hello everyone!
Hello!
And welcome back to the office that is home, the home office. Today's video, very exciting as a home office video could be.
Because we're not going to be here for too much longer! Yay!
Cruising is returning, cruising is nearly back, and this cruise in particular, in case you don't know what we're talking about, is Royal Caribbean's Adventure of the Seas, departing from Nassau, Bahamas. What? That's new.
We're super excited. It's going to be the first Royal Caribbean sailing that U.S. passengers can go on. So we will be on it, the very first one, and today we are preparing for that said cruise.
Yes, we are, because even though COVID-19 protocol may not be as heavily in place as we first thought, which is great, you know, we'll see. We're still awaiting final word on all that, and we'll be showing you all of that, of course, when we actually go on the cruise during our daily vlogs and ship tour and all that fun stuff. But there is some things that we still need to do in regards to COVID-19, more specifically with the Bahamas themselves. So what we're going to do today is we're going to do our mobile app check-in, because that is available for these sailings, which is great, because if you know us, we know that you know that we always recommend using mobile app check-in for Royal Caribbean Cruise. It's
super easy, and I'll put a link to where we did it previously for Navigator, and we loved it, and I'm thinking it's going to go just as great this time too.
And what we're going to do after that, and probably maybe the more important thing, will be applying for our health visa with the Bahamas. Obviously, this is all subject to change. I mean, as things go along, things become better, hopefully not worse, but things can always change, and they have been changing rapidly these past few weeks. So at the time of making this video, this is currently the process for it.
This is going to be a very temporary informational video, but it might at least give you an idea of what it's going to look like a little bit across the board. Just specifically, there's going to be variants.
So come along and join us as we take care of some business so that we can get to the fun.
Prepping for travel!
Finally.
Cruise travel!
Finally! So right when you open up the Royal Caribbean mobile app, you'll be on the, depending on if you've been in it or not, you'll have to select your sailing or log in. But once you select the sailing that we see here, you'll see the little drawing of Adventure of the Seas. There she is, parked Nassau, Bahamas. So we can see some different things down at the bottom that are somewhat new. We see like a little safety thing with the assembly station, life jacket, all this. That wasn't there before when we had done this, that we had noticed at least. They've been rolling out more updates even as they were closed down for COVID, but there's a big one. Health icon, healthy cruises, what to do if you're not feeling well, COVID-19 symptoms, some tips to do before your cruise and at the terminal, while you're sailing, all this stuff, and I'm sure that'll be updated as we get closer to the cruise. Just for reference, we are about, a week and a half away from sailing. We have a couple options here. We see the button down at the bottom that says check-in. That's what we're gonna hit. First thing, right off the bat, that's gonna be a little bit different, is that you'll see we have arrival time. That's already checked because I went in here the other day and grabbed an arrival time that was right when, you know, that was made sense for when we were flying in.
The day that this became available, we weren't able to take the time to do online check-in. We wanted to get the most ideal time possible, so Matt just went ahead and grabbed that.
We did. So I'll show you what it looks like. When you click that arrival time, it's gonna load up here, and then you'll see a list of selections of times that you can choose for this sailing all the way up till 7 o'clock. Now, there were some earlier times that are no longer available because, of course, everyone wants to get on board as quickly as they can. The reason that this is a little bit different is that you'll notice it says arrival time, see you on June 12th at 1 p.m. for us for your wellness check. That's what's different, is it's not just to scan in and get on board. We're gonna have to do a wellness check, make sure everything's good once we arrive at the makeshift cruise terminal that is a hotel.
Yeah, stay tuned for that. That's going to be an interesting one. Also, we don't know this yet because we haven't been yet, but we're thinking that maybe when it says like arrive at this time, they're going to actually want you to arrive at that time. I don't think they're going to want like a ton of people just hanging around at this hotel or makeshift terminal. Before, like if we're leaving from Port Canaveral pre-COVID and all that, you know, it says, you know, oh, you can get on board at 1 p.m. and you could get there at like 10 a.m. and hang around and, you know, do whatever until they let you get on board, usually earlier than your time actually stated. I don't think that's going to be the scenario, this situation.
So let's click on travel info. This is the same as it's always been. Scan a passport, snap a security photo. So we're going to do that right now. Ayo.
Oh my gosh, it's so easy. It's so much easier than typing all the stuff.
If you have a passport, it's the way to go. Honestly, just scanned it right in, and now I gotta do a picture, and of course they want your face centered, no sunglasses, no hats, no groups. Ayo. We're not doing that sort of thing. But point out, you can selfie it like I'm doing now, or you can flip the camera and I could take the picture of Chelsy and she could take the picture of me. But we'll just do this right here.
You look great.
So I'm consenting my use of biometric data from the biometric profile to boarding and photography. Again, all of this is the same that it has been. Nothing different here. Crown and anchor number, putting in your address. This is all basic stuff, so we'll just through this. Okay, so yeah, fast forward, blah, 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 and same old stuff. Putting in the address, putting in emergency contact, a credit card, which ours was already saved, but you put that in, and then you're signing your contract and acknowledging that you agree to the cruise ticket contract terms, which biggest thing to take away from that is that they can change the itinerary if they want to.
Yeah.
That always comes up and people are like, hey, we paid to go here. Well, if you actually read it, it technically says they can change it. So that's neither here nor there, but that's that. So then I'm going to hit continue, and that's going to take care of mine. Yep. Okay, so that's my travel info complete. Again, you do need to do this part for each person, but it is all listed there together. Now I have these big red letters you see here. Not yet cleared to board. Not yet fully operational. Before you get on board, you must answer the health and safety questions the day before your cruise. And pass the wellness check at the terminal. Okay, so I do have my set sail pass.
Yay!
Bingo, bango, bongo.
Oh, we haven't seen one in so long. It's beautiful.
For the longest time. So I guess I will just do the health and safety. Let's just see what happens if you click on that ahead of time. You'll receive a notification the day before your cruise to answer required health questions.
So we're not available to do this questionnaire yet because it's not the day before of our sailing yet. But you can kind of get an idea of the questions that they're going to ask you. We can't look at all of them because it's not time for us to do it yet. But it asks us questions about our temperature, difficulty breathing, fatigue, sudden loss of taste or smell, sore throat, nausea, diarrhea, like i.e. typical COVID symptoms. They're asking you if you've had any of those within the past 14 days.
Headaches, cough, or nasal congestion. And will you be more than 23 weeks pregnant at any time during the cruise? People always ask us, like, when situations like this, what if I say no to that? Or what if I say yes to that?
Yeah.
How will that affect?
We don't know. We haven't done it.
We don't know. It's not for us to decide. That's for the Bahamas in this situation. So you have to take that up with them and check in and see how that's going to affect things. Now, if we're your travel agent and we're handling your reservation, then of course we would check on that for you. But otherwise, yeah, that's not, we don't have the right to speak to that, basically.
No, regardless of, what the result is, definitely always answer honestly because they're asking those things for a reason.
Definitely. Yeah. So we're going to finish up Chelsy's app check-in. Again, that should be exactly the same, and that'll be it for the check-in, and then we'll move on to the health visa.
Okay, now here's the big question. Do I have to take my bandana off?
It does say no hats.
Does that count?
Yes.
Okay. Oh no.
That's that.
Yay, we're checked in!
Checked in. We have both of our set sail passes. So again, all we have left to do is to answer that health questionnaire the day before our sailing. Now we're going to kind of get more of a nitty-gritty, detailed kind of thing here and also pay some money. So it's time for the health visa with the Bahamas.
Now, when we say visa, because visas are
everywhere you want to be.
Visa is usually described as something that goes in your passport. This is not that. Like, we're not applying for something for our passport with this. This is something just through the Bahamas. Almost like when we went to Turks and Caicos, we went to St. Lucia, we had to fill out a travel authorization. I think that's basically what Bahamas is calling their travel authorization, the health visa.
And also, I mentioned we're going to have to pay. And the reason we have to pay is because travel insurance is going to be included in this. Right. So that's great that they're going to throw that in there. That's probably a good idea. Yeah. And one last thing to mention, when they first opened these health visas, you could just go on and do it, as far as I know, pretty much any time you wanted. They got overwhelmed when the Adventure of the Seas was announced. They now limit it to, I believe, 2 weeks, 14 days before your arrival. Now, it's our first time we're going to dive in let's head to the computer.
Dive in, cruise joke.
Okay, so here's the website that you're looking for. Travel.gov.bs for Bahamas.
That's it.
So you see all this, travel compliance unit, travel protocols, you're in the right place. So you see all that. So we're gonna come down here, nice little flow chart as to what you need to do to get approved to go to the Bahamas. So the first step is to create a profile. And you will see in the note right here, dependents 17 years or younger are required to be added to the parent or guardian profile. But if you are an adult yourself, you will need your own profile. So I need one, Chelsy needs one, you need one.
If we had a child, 17 or younger, traveling with us, they would get added to one of ours.
I have a child. All right, so we're gonna click here to create a profile. So this is gonna come up and you put in your email and then you choose a password and it's gonna judge you on whether or not you came up with a good password. Oh, strong password.
And it's green. You're like the Hulk.
And I can just hit continue, 1 out of 6. Okay, now we're on 2 out of 6, I'm assuming. This is passport information, as you can see. So immigration status, we are visitors, we do not live in the Bahamas. And then you put in your nationality. Can you type? Oh my gosh, look at that. So it makes it easier to find there. That's nice. Passport number and expiration date, because unfortunately, unlike the Royal Caribbean app, you can't just scan it. They want to make you do manual labor.
This is why you always do stuff in the app if app is available, and this is why everything should be available in an app, so you can scan stuff in your apply convenience.
There's an app for that. Even though you have to manually put in your passport number and expiration date, you then also have to upload a passport photo and information page. So I'm going to do that now. Passport uploaded. Okay. Continue, 2 out of 6. And now personal information, which is on the passport. It's a lot of kind of, you know, back and forth here. Personal information should take you no time. Don't even need anything for that. Continue. Now we're on 4 out of 6, which is permanent address. And that's it for that one. Now we're on to 5 out of 6. So it's asking about health conditions. Nice little Bahamas crest here.
Ooh.
Logo with the flamingo.
And what's that fish?
Looks like a marlin.
A marlin?
You have a list here of different health conditions, and you are to click the ones that apply to you. And then an emergency contact, that is the last one, 6 out of 6. So you'll put the emergency contact's first and last name, phone number, and their relation to you, which I think is probably wise to put someone who is not traveling with you. Submit. All right, and now it's welcoming me back.
Okay.
It looks like there's some work to do. Error. Now, travel document. Verify your travel document before arrival. This says needs attention. So let me click here. Maybe it didn't like the file that I uploaded. I changed... there we go. See, it says success. Travel document uploaded. I changed the file of my passport that I uploaded earlier, even though it seemed to accept it originally with the .heic, it did not in turn actually accept it. So I changed it to PDF and good to go.
So that's nice. If something isn't correct, a red like exclamation point will say, hey, you need to fix something here.
Yes. So now I'm on my profile, so I'm going to go back to home here, and now I see profile check done, travel document check done, and then traveling with children, submit their information in their travel document if applicable, which it is not for us. We know our next step is to add trip, so let's go ahead and click that. First, choose your trip application. It is international, man of mystery. Select type of travel, so how are you arriving into the country, which for us is private flight chart. No, it's airline.
That would be fun.
And now they want the flight and vessel number. ARG! They want all kinds of information.
It's almost like they want to check you out before letting you into their country.
What's up with that?
So it seems like you do need to have your travel arrangements figured out before being able to complete this.
Yeah. Important thing to remember here is this is in regards to your trip and how you're arriving. So let's say you live in New York. How about that? You live in New York City or Manhattan, but you're going to fly out of Newark for some reason. Well, that would be New Jersey. So that's what you need to pick. Even though you live in New York, you would then choose New Jersey. It's asking about where your flight is going to depart from. Another thing to consider, and you would probably want to follow up with the Bahamas on this. They do have a number and an email that you can reach out to. It's probably asking which state your arrival flight is, because that's what it's wanting to know. I know people will have questions like, well, we're leaving from, let's say, Seattle, and then we're connecting in Miami. Do we put Washington? Do we put Florida? My guess is it's going to be whatever flight actually gets you to the Bahamas. That's where they want to know, because that's what you're putting in here. But if you have any questions about that, follow up with them.
Sure.
Now, this is an interesting question. Number of visits to the Bahamas in the last 5 years.
Mariner, Navigator,
Majesty.
and Majesty.
I think that's it.
3.
3. Uno, dos, tres. No substitutions, exchanges, a refund. And now the arrival information. So the date of arrival into the Bahamas. And you see, it's grayed out because it's like we mentioned, 2 weeks, so we can only go so far. So that's great. You'll know that you're not doing it ahead of time. Port of arrival. Oh, this one is interesting. Make sure you want to put the right one, because if you actually put Nassau, you'll see that doesn't come up. It needs the name of the airport. And then you put your departure information. Now, accommodations at final destination. This is, I think, basically you're just putting in the cruise.
Right.
I think is for what we would be doing. Our purpose is vacation, all we ever wanted. And so we are going to be on a vessel.
Oh.
2 of us. The address
the 2 of
is
us.
the ocean. I think actually what we can do here is put the address for the where the ship is going to depart from. And travel agency or online booking agency name. A lot of people have just been putting Royal Caribbean for this. So that's who you're sailing with. That's what I'm gonna put. I think it doesn't really need to know who your travel agent is.
Right.
And a lot of people don't have travel agents. Something to keep in mind with these things too is that a lot of people get really stressed and nervous and anxious about them, which is understandable.
Sure.
Don't let it phase you. Like we said, if you have any questions, reach out either if we're a travel agent or contact the Bahamas directly. They'll be happy to answer those for you. Basically, they're just trying to get the information to know what they're working with here. As long as you're answering honestly and to the best of your abilities, I think that's what matters most.
And if you make a mistake, the most likely scenario is not just that it becomes void and you don't get to go. Usually, they'll have a question or like follow up with you in some way or have you correct something.
They want you to travel. This is the important stuff. COVID-19 vaccine or the PCR test information. If you are fully vaccinated, you do not need to test before you arrive. You can just provide your vaccine information, which we will be doing ourselves. If you're not vaccinated, you do need to provide that PCR test, negative PCR test. We're gonna choose vaccine, and now they want the vaccine type. Currently, the Bahamas only accepts Moderna, Pfizer, AstraZeneca, or Johnson & Johnson. Janssen at this time. I've never heard that. I guess that is the name, but no one ever says Johnson & Johnson Janssen. We don't know. We're Pfizer. That's what we're going to put in here. And then you put in your vaccine first shot information. So we have the slot number. That, I believe, is the batch number, the first dose that they write on your card when you get vaccinated. So I'm going to put this in right now.
And of course, when it says that you're fully vaccinated, that means that it has been 2 weeks post your final second vaccination.
Unless you had the Johnson & Johnson's Janssen, or whatever it was, because that's 1 dose. So 2 weeks after that. Now, healthcare professional. Check that it's covered by your healthcare provider. This is where or clinic site information where you received the vaccine. All right, so I put in the first shot, first dose information. Now we scroll down and guess what? They want the second shot information as well. So just follow the protocol and do the same thing.
And I assume if you click the Johnson Janssen one, the second shot fill out wouldn't pop up. It would just the first one would pop up.
All right, so we put in the second shot information there. Then click to upload vaccine file. So you do need to have like a scan or picture of your vaccine available.
I think the most important thing is just after you upload something, just click the view vaccine uploaded to make sure that it uploaded correctly. And then you know you're good to go. If nothing comes up, like try it again, try a different format, or try taking a screenshot or something like that and then doing it again.
All right, next step here is countries you have visited in the past 6 weeks, which for us would be none.
No.
Amazingly, that's only a month and a half, so we haven't been anywhere. And then we have a checklist here. We have cash, other negotiable instruments, precious stones, valued of 10,000 more. I had someone submit this form for me. Check if you do not wish to receive information on the islands of the Bahamas. These are mandatory, though. I have reviewed and agreed to the group travel insurance program policy. So there's a clickable link here. And if you do that, it opens it up and it tells you all about the travel insurance that is being included with this travel visa and what that covers and all that jazz that we are not going to dive into.
Yeah.
Because that is extensive, but you can read through that and see what that's all about.
It's required, though. So if you're going, you have to have that travel insurance.
You have to do it.
Definitely look over it yourself, though, so you know what you're getting.
And that doesn't mean you can't purchase additional travel insurance.
For sure.
But you're going to have this one. So then the last one here, I've completed this form on my behalf, or on behalf of an individual I am duly authorized to act for. I understand that I may be subject to criminal proceedings if any of the above statements provided are inaccurate.
Basically, I promise if I go to the Bahamas, I'll behave myself and I'll listen to what the Bahamas say for me to do.
And everything I said in this was true. Submit! Success! We got a little green thing. Success!
Green!
Now I'm pending, of course, because that's normal. That takes them some time to actually go through this and read everything and approve. It does give you your expiration date for the visa here, the length of stay, all that. Kind of just like a little bit of a summary with a little reference code as well. So we see the profile check, the done check. Now we have the upcoming trips. There it is.
Yay!
It's pending, so you can check on the status of that there. So down at the bottom here, it says tests. To be honest, we're not exactly sure what this is. You'll see it just says no tests found. If I click that, it doesn't do anything. If I click view all, it says no tests found. We're not positive, but I think this is that if you are staying in the Bahamas, not for the cruise, but if you're staying in the Bahamas past a certain time, like 4 or 5 days, and that may only even apply if you're not vaccinated, you have to get tested. So I bet they keep track of that and upload that there. That's the only thing I can think of. I'm not really sure. Again, if you have questions or you need to make sure, reach out to the Bahamas.
Right, but it seems like if something is applicable towards you, then you will see an item there that you need to fill out or take care of. But for us, we don't have anything there, so there's nothing for us to do.
There's nothing for us to do.
We did it all.
That's it. And we mentioned that you have to pay, and you have the travel insurance and all of that, and we didn't pay. We didn't pay anything. So, hello, we have to be approved first, all right? And then you will make, we're assuming, we'll make the payment for that, which I believe is $40. So we're just waiting now for the pending to be approved, which we've heard has been going rather quickly.
Right, and yeah, because all the information is pretty straightforward. So yeah, we'll wait to get approved, and then we'll show you how you pay for it.
We'll be right back. Stay tuned to this commercial break.
We're back.
We're
only
back.
Minutes later.
Yes, well, to be precise, that took about 40 minutes. They sent me an email right when we finished what you last saw, saying basically that my travel visa application was pending. And it is nice because they provided a similar flowchart that we saw earlier in the email. 4 steps. Number 1 is application submitted, which was checked. Then application processed. And then application payment required, so we were correct. Of course, they don't need you to pay unless you're actually going to go. So that only makes sense. And then the last one is to download your travel health visa. So they then sent me a follow-up email saying that my application has been processed. So now the next one is application payment required.
Let's do that.
So here we are back where we were earlier on my home page here. But now it says processed. Pay now. We want your money, honey. Here we go. All the information again. Pay now, $40, like we mentioned before. So that's going to bring up Canoe. I can't believe they want us to do this.
Canoe?
So we're just going to put in our information here. So now that we're down here, we can click pay $40, I guess. We don't have a choice in that matter. So we will do that now. Payment successful. You will automatically be redirected to the merchant site.
Yay!
Boom! So now we're approved.
Now you're good to go in terms of Bahamas. Bahamas says, yes, Matthew R. Hoffman, it is acceptable for you to enter the Bahamas.
Well, that's just fine and dandy because that's what I'm planning on doing. And then you do have these different options to open up that travel health visa PDF or the insurance policy PDF, as well as some more details on the insurance program and and an insurance claim form should you need that.
So I definitely recommend when you go to travel, I would maybe, open up this travel health visa, have this with you. I would go ahead and print it just to be safe.
Super simple. Now, of course, we're doing this in terms of going on a cruise with Royal Caribbean, but this same health travel visa applies to all travel types to the Bahamas.
Right. So because we're flying into the Bahamas, basically the health visa is handling things on the Bahamas side, and then the Royal Caribbean app check-in that was handling things on the Royal Caribbean side of it.
So lots of stuff related to this trip coming your way. We will be trying to go live from Adventure of the Seas in Nassau on boarding day.
We are going to be filming the entire time we're on adventure to show you our regular cruise kind of stuff, but also to show you anything new or different going on with cruising right now. So be ready for lots of cruising stuff.
We want to thank you for joining us here today. We hope you found this video informative and helpful. As always, if you are interested in booking a cruise, we can help make that happen. Please feel free to reach out via the travel agent information you can find in the description of this video. Our services are always completely complimentary and free to you. We're going to sign off for today, though. See you next time.
Happy travels!
They are coming.
Yay!
Womp womp.